Hey everybody, welcome back to Investing with Wesley. Today I want to talk to you about what's considered the OG and the classic way to invest for your child. It doesn't necessarily need to be for educations or anything in specific. The accounts I'm talking about are your regular kind of custodial accounts, the UTMA accounts. Let's get into it. So the Ugma account, the UGMA account, was the first custodial account that was introduced. It was introduced in 1956, and UGMA stands for Uniform Gift to Minors Act. This is an account that anyone can set up for pretty much any minor. All you need to know is the name, social security and address of where that minor lives in order to set up one of these accounts. You don't necessarily have to be a relative or anyone in particular to set up an account for this particular minor. And the purpose of this was to encourage parents and family members to start saving and investing for these minors before they turned 18. And one of the huge benefits of the Ugma account when it was created is it's a way to gift assets to minors without needing attorneys or trusts. Now, because it's a custodial account, you're the owner and manager of the account. You make all investment decisions, how much money goes in, when it goes in, where it goes to. You make all these decisions until the child turns 18. Now, in some states, that age is different. Like some states, it's 18, some it's 21. Some states like Florida, it can even be extended all the way into 25. So depending on what state you're in, really depends on what age it is. But let's just call it adulthood. Now, the Ugma account was first started for paper investments, like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, that sorts of thing. But in 1986, the UTMA was created, and this is the Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. And with an UTMA account, you're allowed to transfer assets that aren't necessarily paper investments. So although you can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and so on, with an UTMA account, you can also transfer things like royalties, real estate, and patents. So it's a very broad spectrum on what you can transfer or gift to your child or any other minor for that matter. Like mentioning before, UTMA accounts are the original custodial accounts and therefore can be used in extremely versatile ways. Unlike the Coverdell ESA or the 529 plan that we talked about in previous episodes, the UTMA account isn't designated strictly for educational purposes like the Coverdell ESA or the 529 plan is. If you remember, the two huge drawbacks with a Coverdell and a 529 plan is that if your child doesn't go to college, then the money that you have to withdraw or that your kid withdraws is subject to income tax as well as a 10% penalty fee. But with the UTMA account, it is only subject to income tax. But the downside is, if your intent is to set up an UTMA account for the purpose of saving for college, it will have negative effects on the FAFSA application. As an example, the 529 plan, that income counts towards the parent's income and it is weighted at about 5% of the FAFSA. Whereas UTMA income is considered the child's income and weighted at about 20%. So it has way more negative effects when applying for financial aid. Now, although the 529 plan does use after-tax dollars, it grows tax deferred until you take the money. And depending whether or not your withdrawal qualified as a qualified educational expense will determine whether you're taxed on that income or not. With an UTMA account, there is no deferral and you will be taxed when you take your money. But there are some limits on how much you will be taxed. For an example, up to the first $1,050, there is no tax. From $1,050 to $2,100, you're subject to the kiddie tax, which is usually about 10%, but anything over the $2,100 mark is taxed at the parent's income level. Now, in my opinion, I don't necessarily think this is the best way to save for your kids' college tuition, but it is a great option when it comes to just generally saving for your kid's future. Because there is always the possibility that your kid doesn't want to go to college and instead wants to start a business or something else. With an Ugma account, there's no rules that are tied up in the education. It's just money that is gifted or transferred to your child when they reach the age of majority. And although you'll already be miles ahead of families that don't set up a savings account for their kid, teaching your kid early on how to save, manage money, and invest, and even if they earn extra income here and there, like through a lemonade stand, you putting that money into this Ugma account and investing it, when they turn 18, they'll see a huge boost to what they'll receive. And yeah, it might stink for them right then and there because they wanted to buy the candies or whatever it is they wanted to buy. But teaching them how to be responsible with their money, as well as the benefits of delayed gratification, will do wonders for them later on down the road. Now, I know I made it sound like in this video, Ugma and UTMA were two different things. But in reality, UTMA replaced the Ugma Act. So if you wanted to set up one of these custodial accounts, chances are you're going to be able to click an option that says UGMA/UTMA, because basically the two are one and the same now. So don't be confused or waste time doing extra research on whether you should put your money in an Ugma or an UTMA, because the two are basically one and the same now. And as a general custodial account that is built to have the benefits of your child in mind, it is a great way to teach your kids the basics when it comes to money and investing and delayed gratification. But when it comes to the UGMA or the UTMA, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and I hope you got value from it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, because it really helps the YouTube algorithm in getting this channel out there so I can help educate more people. Until our next episode, have a good one.